Hi guys, welcome to our podcast. My name is Marissa.
And I'm Luis. And this is my girlfriend.
That's my boyfriend.
She's my girlfriend.
What did you say?
I said this is my girlfriend, like you hadn't introduced yourself yet.
Yeah, I'm his girlfriend.
That's my wife.
So thank you for clicking on our podcast.
We appreciate it a lot.
We're just starting, clearly, and we're a little nervous.
Very nervous. What do you mean a little nervous?
Well, I feel like
I hate being on camera and I hate talking in front of people, so.
And I talk a lot, which you'll
learn very soon that she talks a lot.
You'll probably notice that. So I talk a lot. He talks a lot in circumstances, but
it depends what you're talking about and who's around.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you for clicking on this. It's something that we both really like. Mm-hmm. We like listening to podcasts, and I feel like
we even have matching mugs like regular podcast people do.
We do, and I feel like it's something, at least we were just talking about this. I feel like the big thing is like YouTube and making YouTube videos, which is totally fine. Like we both really wanted to like make YouTube videos as well, but we're both more of conversation type people. So the reason for our name for our podcast, pretty much, when we started dating, we always had conversations.
Well, it wasn't even when we started dating. We were just like friends.
Yeah, you're right.
So how we met is like through like church. That's how we like became friends. And
well, actually, we didn't. Well, yeah.
Well, we knew each other like back in like middle school. She went to like a Catholic school and I went to a Catholic school.
And the communities are really small.
We like knew of each other then. But going back to how the name came about, which is kind of when we were friends, she didn't drive. Like it was our senior year.
Our senior year.
She didn't really drive, and I drove, and I'm just like a very nice person. And if you knew me in high school,
and no one else wanted to take me home. I'm just kidding.
If you knew me in high school, I always gave people rides. So I would always just take her home after we would hang out with friends or after we would do like our church meetings or whatever. And they were church meetings.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Church meetings.
And I would just like take her home and
at the time, like, I was going through a really hard time, like with my personal life and stuff. So it turned into like the typical like car ride conversations, late night car ride conversations. He would take me home, and then we'd be like parked outside my house, and then it would just like go into like literal like really deep conversations about like anything and everything.
Like we would literally show up at the house at like 10,
yeah,
maybe
like
9:30, and I wouldn't leave until 3 or 4 in the morning. And like we didn't do anything. All we did was just talk and talk and talk.
Yeah, just kidding. We really didn't do anything. We just talked, and we enjoyed each other's company, and that's really how our relationship got like very personal, because at least with me, like I never thought I would be really good friends with like him, just because we were just different. In high school, he was just very different, and we were just.
I was kind of a do-bag.
Yeah, and so I just felt like I would never be around someone like that. And then once we started talking and stuff, and he went through similar situations that I had gone through, so we kind of just really related off of that together, and it made us enjoy each other's company.
It kind of helped us both kind of just work through like a hard time in like both of our lives personally, and then it just like made us really really like close friends. Like we were literally best friends that entire summer of like our senior year. But going back to like the title and why it's that, sorry if that got a little too I don't know the word.
We went off on a tangent. Yeah, so whenever we would, it was like 3 or 4 in the morning, and
I had like a sunroof in my car. I had like this really old like Jeep, and there was like a sunroof in the car.
And he would try to like hit on me and stuff. So he was like, "I'm gonna open it up."
No. Because I wouldn't want my car running, because I'd be there for 6 hours just like talking to this girl. So I didn't want to waste my gas. So I would turn off the car and roll down the windows. I would have the sunroof up. And like after a while, because she talks and talks and talks, I would get like tired of just sitting there. So I would like put my seat down and kind of just like lay back. And if y'all are ever out late at night, you kind of just see the clouds. And at night especially, you can see them just kind of like moving. they were just like moving, and we would always like mention them, like, oh, that's how we know it's getting late.
Because the clouds would look a certain way and like move a certain way, so it was just kind of like they were late night clouds. That's what, I don't know. It was just something that we kind of would always talk about or like mention whenever we realized it was really late at night, was the clouds and how they were moving. And
That was kind of how we ended any conversation we were having.
we were like, because we didn't want to say bye to each other. It was hard to say bye. So
there was even this one time where she had to pee really
oh
bad.
Oh my god, yes.
And like, yeah, I think even before she even like got in the car, she like had to
I
pee.
To pee.
And she didn't pee until like we left, and that was like at 4 a.m, and we showed up at her house at like 10. So she held her pee for a good like 6 hours. Yeah. A whole shift at work, she held her pee.
I did, and then I was like, and I literally ended the conversation with, "Okay, I have to pee, bye." And then I left because I didn't. It was hard for us to. It still is hard for us to say bye to each other, but we would just end it like that and say things like that. So that's kind of where the name came from, because just the clouds, the way they looked, and we always like say that now, like whenever we leave each other, it's like, oh, those are our clouds. That's how we.
And there's like the conversations we had like through that whole time.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a good basis of, when you're younger and you just like having that like friend time when you're like chilling with your friends, you're in the car, and those are like the best conversations you have. And I know for us, like, those are the best conversations we had, and we really got to know each other and grow appreciation for one another, and just like de-stress and not worry about like stupid bullshit and stuff. Yeah. So that's kind of leads into why we wanted to start a podcast, because we're both kind of loner people. We both keep our circles very small.
Not loner, we're just ourselves.
I mean, that's kind of the same thing, but yeah, we keep to ourselves a lot. It's not like we don't have like, well, that's debatable, but we have our circles are very small, and so I feel like conversations are a good way to start to grow connections with people, and it's something that we're really passionate about. It's just talking about things that are important to us or important to talk about in our world today. And I think that really younger people, not that they're not talking about certain things, but like I said, YouTube is more of the mainstream thing, and I feel like not that many younger people are really doing podcasts. And so I feel like it's a cool way to do something, because sometimes it's hard to watch a video when you can just listen to something, and it makes it a little bit more.
And especially hard when you're watching like all these YouTube videos that they're driving like Teslas and Lamborghinis, and it's just kind of makes you feel shitty in a way, or just kind of makes you envy it just because you're not living that life. And I feel like with a podcast you can kind of relate more, as well as we just kind of want to have a conversation and just kind of let people know out there that like whatever you're going through, or just kind of like the struggles that you're having. I mess up my words a lot. So
yeah, he does.
So don't make fun.
So yeah,
that you're having, that you're like not just having them by yourself. That like we're definitely going through them too. Whether it's like, your anxiety, your depression, just being poor, like living paycheck to paycheck, or living at home with your family, but you want to like be on your own because you want your independence because you're at like that point in your life. Or just like
not relate. No, that's not a touchy subject.
We want to move out. I love you, my family, but y'all know how I feel.
Yeah, it's just something that it is really easy to see the kind of YouTube life, or to see celebrities in general, and it makes you feel really bad about yourself, and it makes you feel very unmotivated. And we're not rich, we're not living extravagant lives. Like we're doing us, and we're doing what we can to survive and kind of learn the ropes of getting older and stuff. And so that's kind of the kind of stuff we want to talk about, is things that are relevant, like pop culture, things that are happening in the world today, like on Twitter, whatever, and world events, I guess, just things that are important to talk about that I feel
like early voting started when Monday.
Yeah, so just things like just things that we think are important that aren't really voiced a lot, and even if they are voiced a lot, just our
just opinion. A different perspective.
Yeah,
like
just
you have
our opinions as well.
Just kind of more perspective that you can kind of relate to more, just because we're on the same age as well as on the same kind of like
path.
Life.
Yeah.
I
Life,
don't know the word.
yeah, life is just life
Life
sucks.
experiences.
Life sucks. And we're also very like passionate about music, and that's like one thing we like love to do together is like go to concerts and talk about music and listen to music. So talk about music, especially because I feel like it's so relevant. Like everyone loves music. Everyone loves music. And so music is easy to talk about. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to hear different perspectives on why people are big, why things are blowing up, things like that. And he likes to talk about sports. I like to talk about it too, but he's a little bit more in depth with that.
I could have hour conversations of just
Yeah,
sports
so
alone.
sports kind of stuffs.
And Joe, if you're watching this, I know you can talk about sports a lot too. Maybe once it gets a little bigger, I could have you on here, and you could replace her, and we could have a lot of conversations about sports, man.
Yeah. So
are the Texans winning tonight? Actually, let's see, Joe. I'm gonna check for you.
So just things like that, and mental health is another really big.
As I look up sports.
Mental health is another really important thing, at least to me. I know it is to him as well, and especially because it is so important. And just
they won 42-23. Sorry.
So just things like that, and anything that we just is on our mind or what's relevant. Literally everything.
And I don't know if like girls really did this, but I know with like guys, or at least especially with like my friends that I've had throughout my life, pretty much any time you like slept over or like y'all were just hanging out late at night, for some reason, don't ask me why, like you just get into like these like very like heart to heart moments, as well as just like these crazy conversations. Not even like we're like not even like doing drugs or anything. Like you're literally just like with each other.
We're not even doing drugs.
Because when you say like you're talking crazy stuff or like just like out there ideas or conversation, people are like, oh, drugs. No, just like you have heart to hearts with like your like boys or like your friends, especially like late at night. For some reason, that just like happens, and that's where you like get to really like know people a lot. And that's what I feel like friendships really like grow is like when y'all do kind of like spend the night with each other. That sounds so weird. When y'all like kind of just are with each other late at night and have those conversations. So.
It's because at night is when like your mind is racing and you have a lot of thoughts and you're like, you think about things that you don't really want to think about during the day. So it just kind of it comes up. Girls definitely do that.
Well, I'm not a girl. So
yeah, so things like that and probably a lot more stuff, like you said, crazy stuff like that, crazy.
Just like conversations. If like we see something that piques our interest, we'll just get on here and talk about it. Because a lot of the times we'll just like kind of just lay in bed and we'll literally talk for like hours just about certain things. Like we were talking about how, kind of how this idea kind of came about too was I saw like that little clip from LeBron's The Shop on HBO with Drake, and how he was saying how he wants to like leave the rap game gracefully, and like he doesn't want to overextend his stay. And it cuts to like LeBron, and LeBron's like saying, well, you have those people that have been with you from the start that kind of tell you like, hey man, like it's time. And then we just had this conversation, like this 2-hour conversation about like, does Drake even have like a day one person that's like, does he have any like no men,
like,
or is it all just
people.
like yes men?
Yeah, so we got into a whole conversation about Drake.
So it's kind of like things like that, like something that I just saw that on Twitter, and it was just like we just had a conversation about it. So just like something like that.
Yeah. So, and if whoever's watching or listening, if you have something that like is on your mind, feel free to send us suggestions because we're gonna be very open to that. Just because support would be great.
Or even if y'all want to do a podcast, y'all are more than welcome to come to my room, use our set that we made, and start your own thing. But
it's honestly, and that's kind of like we said, when you see like YouTubers and you see all this extravagant stuff they have, and it makes you feel really bad about yourself, and it kind of just makes you reevaluate your life and where you're at that point. And like I know I watched a video of like James Charles, who's a makeup guru. If you don't know, he is like 19.
Sister.
He's 19 years old, and he just bought his own house, and it just was like, what the hell? Like, what am I doing?
And we're 21 still living at home with our parents.
but like going off of that, like, if you want to do something, like you can do it, and you just have to kind of put your mind to it. Like we've kind of talked about wanting to be creative with like YouTube videos or whatever. But like this podcasting is something that we recently started talking about, and we literally made it happen within like a matter of like a week or so.
Like a week and a half.
Yeah, and so it's super easy, and I mean it is if you want to have somewhat nice things, save your money. If you work, just save your money, and it's not that hard to save. If you really want to do something, you got to put your mind to it and just save some cash aside, some money that you would use to like buy food. Just start. I'm just kidding.
We didn't eat for 3 days because we bought this equipment.
But
so.
yeah, just if you want to do something, you can do it, and you just gotta work your way around it and make it work in some way. So
100%.
I think that's like our basis of who we are. Not who we are, but kind of
who we are, what we're about. We're here to stay. Shout out Jenna and Julian too, because they inspire us a lot too.
Yeah, we watch.
So if y'all are watching this, thank you guys. We'll definitely gladly,
be on the podcast.
Be under your wing. If y'all have any pointers, Julian, if you want to send me some MeUndies, man, some quip. Is it quip or quid? That toothbrush, bro.
But I think Quid is like an actual app too, because I'm pretty sure like Shane was like sponsored by Quid, which is like a sticker thing.
Shout out Shane Dawson.
We're just gonna name drop. We're just
YouTube Creator of the Year.
We're just gonna name drop so many people just so they'll like.
Yo, Nick Merckx and fam, what's up?
We're
Go
fans.
Bucks.
We're fans of everyone, so.
No, we're not. There's so many people we don't like.
She can't. Nah.
Who?
But yeah, so we're. Wait.
DC?
No. Oh yeah, I know what you're saying. But yeah, just what? That's kind of what we're about and what our hopes for the podcast. And honestly, I feel like we're the type of people where even if no one does listen or watch, like we're still gonna
post it. We're still gonna talk.
But yeah, we don't want it to run too long because
if
it's your first time listening, we don't want you to tune out already. People already clicked off.
And like if we sound like idiots, we
know.
We just kind of like we just got the equipment and we're like, let's just do it.
You gotta jump.
And we just did it.
You gotta just jump in and do it and force yourself because
the next episode will be better because we'll be a little bit more prepared because we'll actually like have topics that we're gonna talk about. This was kind of like an introduction and like why we're doing this, why our title's that, what we want to talk about, just ideas, just basically it, man.
Yeah. So if you have any suggestions, like I said a little earlier, feel free to leave them, and we'll be happy to listen and have open minds about conversations because that's what we're all about.
Yeah, whatever y'all want to hear us talk about, go ahead and tell us, man. Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Whatever. Now we're going to talk about it. We don't have to listen to you. But if it's something cool, we'll talk about it. Like maybe we'll talk about Elon Musk and, the simulation theory. We're all simulation, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Or AI and how we're just going to become the next apes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you made it this far, don't watch that one because it'll freak you out.
Yeah, so thank you guys for listening and watching. We will see y'all next time.
Peace out, guys. Bye.
Hey guys, thank you for watching our first podcast episode. We really do appreciate it. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Subscribe so you can see our future stuff. We'll be posting a lot more. Comment your suggestions that you have for us. We're open to hearing any topics that you guys have. And make sure to share our video as well with your friends and family, just so we can get the word out on our podcast. We'd really appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.